Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Laura Ward, and I'm the Manager of Psychosocial Services at Hospicare. Hospicare offers palliative care, hospice, and grief support to all residents of Cortland and Tompkins County. Our beautiful event, Illuminations, is a part of the fabric of our community, allowing us to honor and remember loved ones who have died. Every year, we offer this memorial service to the community so they can come together to grieve their losses, no matter when they happened. Until this year, that meant physically coming together at our residence on South Hill in Ithaca, lighting luminaries which we spread across the grounds to offer opportunity for quiet reflection. Thank you for joining us tonight for our first virtual Illuminations event. And now I would like to get us started by welcoming Kim DeRosa, Executive Director of Hospicare.
Thank you, Laura. Although we are unable to come together this year in person, we understand the importance of this event to so many of our friends, neighbors, families, and staff as we acknowledge our grief and support each other through it. Thank you for joining us tonight. Whether you are physically in Cortland or Tompkins counties or somewhere farther away, all are welcome, and we're so glad that you're here. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the profound grief felt worldwide as a result of the vast number of deaths related to COVID-19. With the death toll in the United States alone surpassing 100,000, the impact to our nation is devastating. We also grieve for all the ways in which this pandemic has altered our way of life, from being able to hold a dying loved one's hand to changing the ways in which we interact with our families, friends, and the world in general. Please join me for a moment of silence as we honor the lives of the women, men, and children who are victims of this pandemic, acknowledge the toll it has taken on our loved ones, and reflect on all our losses and the reasons we came together today. Thank you again for joining us. Although we're apart, it's moments like these that bring us together in love, support, and community. It's now my pleasure to introduce Joe Haynes, one of Hospicare's spiritual counselors.
Evening has come, and night invites us to follow the lights as they say, "Come and walk in our light." There is a haunting beauty in luminaries as they show us the way and invite us to come and walk. I don't know how long Illuminations has been an event here at Hospicare, but it is surely an inspired exercise in remembering those in our lives who have died. They have made the great transition, and now we come to commune with them, to be in touch with the memories of happy times and pain and grief and final letting go. I suggest we think of 3 acts we choose to make. First, the lights are beckoning us to attend, to be present. This is a sacred time in which we slow down and respond to the flickering lights, and one light in particular, as we think of our loved ones. She's inviting us to come and be with her. He is smiling and holding out his hand to reassure us that he is at peace. And we are grateful for the privilege and at times the pain of sharing their journey. The second act is we follow the light wherever it leads us. Breathe in the peace and love that is available to you. Following takes energy, and we must breathe more deeply to follow along wherever we are being invited to go. First we inhale, and then we exhale. We breathe in fresh oxygen, and we then breathe out and release what is no longer needed. For some of us, the joy of the relationship is what we remember. For others of us, the grief and exhaustion is what seems to dominate our memories. It may be a mix of joy and pain. Be with whatever we are called to do as we follow their light. And then finally, this evening we walk together with them and with each other, though only virtually now. Light, coming to the light, following the light, walking in the light. All of the great faiths in the world speak of light. Hindus light lights and set them free to float in the waters of a river. Light is in Allah, and the faithful Muslim surrenders to the light. The Hebrew Bible begins with the creation of light, and it is good. For those of us who are Christians, we see Christ as the light, and we walk in the light God gives us in him. Walking is done by taking one step at a time. One step after another. The words of an old hymn come to mind. Lead, kindly light, amid the encircling gloom. Lead thou me on. The night is dark, and I am far from home. Lead thou me on. Keep thou my feet. I do not ask to see the distant scene. One step, enough for me.
Thank you, Kim and Joe. Now we will hear a beautiful piece of music by Evangeline Ray. Evangeline's husband, Michael Kidney, died on Hospicare services in 1996. Evangeline is a local musician who plays piano for the much-loved Trumansburg Choir. As the world seems to get darker and darker, Evangeline wondered, what music can I possibly bring to this time? What presented itself to her over and over, demanding to be heard, was this: how can I keep from singing? Above earth's lamentations, through the tumult and the strife, while the tempest loudly roars, music sounds an echo. Please enjoy this piece of music by Evangeline that links several songs together. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that music just as much as I did. So beautiful. Next, we would like to share with you a video that we created which highlights the beauty of Hospicare's gardens, which we miss so much, and the beauty of human relationships. The writing spoken in this video was written by Anne Lamott. It's her personal reflection on death, dying, and hospice that we found especially poignant and wanted to share with you this evening. Anne Lamott is a political activist, public speaker, and writer based in California. She writes mostly nonfiction works that are autobiographical in nature, and her writing is just beautiful. We hope you enjoy this video, and afterwards, social worker Edna Brown will be leading us in the candle lighting ceremony.
When people we can't live without die, everyone likes to quote John Donne, "Death, be not proud." Yeah. Thank you for sharing. My father died of brain cancer when he was 7 years younger than I am now. He was my closest person, and I did not love it. My best friend died years ago, leaving behind an 18-month-old daughter. She was my closest person, and I did not love it or agree to it, and I just barely survived it. My darling friend Anne passed away last week. Maybe this passing seems less deathy, as she was 93. But believe me, she had done the dying part, the closing up shop part, the leaving us part, just like everyone has to do. And we do it with no owner's manual, and at the end, alone. When I told my grandson that she had passed, his mouth dropped open. "Anne Brevner died?" he asked. And then, "I wonder what that's like, dying." So I thought I would tell you what I know, because this weird, scary aspect of life can just wreck everything if you don't figure out at some point that it is that which makes life so profound, meaningful, rich, complex, wild. If you try to outrun this essential truth with manic achievement and people-pleasing and exotic distractions, it begins to argue a wasted life. Everyone we love, and I am just going to add, in a whisper, even our own children and nieces and nephews will die. They will no longer be here on this side of eternity. This can kind of ruin everything. When my son was little, he asked if we would die at the exact same moment. When I said, "No, probably not," he wept, and then he said to me, "If I had known that, I wouldn't have agreed to be born." But won't death be scary? Anne Brevner's wasn't. Her death, like every passing I have witnessed, was beautiful, gentle, sometimes hard and confusing, but completely doable. Ram Dass said death would be like finally getting to take off the 2 small shoes we have been wearing our entire lives. Think of that. Getting to rub those sore arches and wiggle those baby toes after all those years feeling cramped, like Chinese foot-bound women tiptoeing to minimize the pain. But back to my grandson's question of what dying will be like, and why I don't think you need to be afraid. So many people will surround you. Your dearest family and friends, both the living and the dead. Anne's father, who died 50 years ago, was with her. Her son, who died last year, was with her. And we were with her. The most important thing you can do if someone is dying: show up, listen, nod. Our pastor came to anoint her the day before she died, not knowing if Anne's homegoing was an hour or a month away. Hospice was on hand to help with the pain. Every single person I have loved and lost, and who has had their most beloved around them, or who has had hospice, has had the richest, most astonishing love and safety at the end. They had peace like a river. Even if their death was sudden, grace always bats last. They get to take off the 2 tight shoes. They got their get out of jail free card. Death, be as proud as you want. Bore me later, because love is sovereign here. Life never ends. Joy comes in the morning. Let it be so.
Good evening. My name is Edna Brown, and I'm a social worker with Hospicare and Palliative Services of Tompkins and Cortland counties. Tonight, we'll be lighting a candle to remember our loved ones who have died. If you have a candle you'll be lighting at home, please make sure you have it accessible during this time. For centuries, both religious and non-religious people have burned candles in remembrance of loved ones who have died. The flame of the candle symbolizes the spirit or the soul of the person who has left their earthly body behind. The light reminds us of the many ways in which our loved ones brightened our lives. Candlelight can be a symbol of hope and comfort during a dark time. So at Hospicare, for years now, we've been having a communal candle lighting service called Illuminations to honor and remember those loved ones who we have lost. I light this candle to represent all our loved ones we're remembering today. Please join me in lighting a candle at home today and saying the name of your loved one or loved ones aloud. You may also type in the name of the person or people you are remembering and honoring tonight by typing their name in the chat box of this video. We'll now have some time for reflection with a musical interlude. Thank you for joining us.
There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist, and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow, and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild with the weak, fear, fantasies, failures, and success. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. And the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Dana Balds. I hope that you've enjoyed our program this evening. I wanted to say a special thank you to the musicians, contributors, Hospicare staff, and our sponsors for making this event possible. And to you, our community, for coming to join us tonight. As Rumi says, the candles are many, but the light is one. Good night and take care.